There's been lots of talk recently about inheritance tax, income redistribution, etc., and of course, lot of avage about it. I think one of the things that has not been addressed. What is the need for reducing inequality? I mean, there's the moral need, but business is business. To my mind, the real need for addressing inequality is actually economic growth. I mean, suppose there was a product, right? Let's say it cost 50,000 rupees, and it's a fantastic product. Anyone who saw it wanted to buy it, okay? Now, unfortunately, because of the price, chances are only people who had, let us say, an income of 30 lakhs a year would run out and buy it, right? That's about 3% of India's population. That's still about 40 million people, good market. But suppose by magic, 30% of India's population had got an income of more than 30 lakhs. The demand of the product will go to 400 million. I mean, the manufacturers would lose their mind, and growth would just zoom. I mean, it's a very broad example, but the point is, the limitations of growth, and there are a lot of limitations of growth globally right now. There is demographics, there is productivity, and I mean, those are, demographics plus productivity give you growth. And people are saying, boy, birth rates are going down, productivity is not going, so global growth has really got a problem. But I'm saying, if you could find a way to give greater buying power to people who today have very little buying power, you would see a lot of growth. So that is the primary reason, to think about this. And as usual, there is no magic, but I have come up with what I think is a really sound idea. It sounds radical, to actually create more effective redistribution. I would call it actually a more effective version of capitalism. And what I believe we should do is the following. We should have zero taxes on income of any kind. In other words, anything earned by labor, whether it's salaries, consultancy fees, corporate profits, zero taxes, right? And only tax assets. You make an exemption, some people need to be able to live in their own home or flat or whatever. So there should be no, you have to get into the details. There would be a few exemptions, I'm sure. But the numbers are shocking, I didn't realize this till I started thinking about it. But today, the amount of assets, in the hands of a limited number of people is huge. In India, there are probably more by now, $700,000 millionaires. Their total wealth is estimated at 96.2 trillion rupees. I mean, it's a number that makes no sense, right? Nobody knows what that is. But what is key is that it's 35 times more than the government's total budgeted expenses. Sorry, that's 962 trillion, not 96 trillion, right? That's 35 times more than what the government spends. So if you would just charge 3% to all these dollar millionaires, that would cover all of the government's expenses, right? Now I know people say, oh God, no, you can't just tax people for no reason. But I'm saying, think about what I said. I'm not only taxing wealth or assets, I am giving you zero tax on income. So what would happen is, what would happen to stock prices, right? Well, by God, you're going to tax them, they'd go down, right? You also have to figure out how you tax them. I was thinking about it that, because then what people would do before the date when the tax was being levied, they would sell the stocks, right? So maybe you could do something that it would be valued at the highest value during a 6-month period surrounding the end of the financial year. That's a technicality. But what would happen is, stock prices would fall because holders would have to pay tax. But on the other hand, there would be no tax on the company's profits, no tax on dividends, no tax on anything else. So that would sort of stabilize things, right? The other major area is real estate, right? Now this is very important because, people all over the world, India specifically, but all over the world have trouble getting a hold of place to live. Now, again, I was shocked to discover that the total stock value of real estate is more than twice the value of all listed equities. Again, it's some crazy number, 80 trillion rupees, whatever that means, right? Now, I'm saying here what would happen, certainly home prices would come down, right? But that's good because more people will be able to have flats. So if there's going to be more flats, there would be more building, more growth. And again, let's not forget that people who have got the second home that was being taxed, the rental income that they were getting from it would be tax-free. So, I mean, there's lots of arithmetic to be done. I think conceptually, you need to understand that the reason for even looking at this is to increase growth, which is going to be at a premium going forward. So I feel that this should be the new world. I actually started thinking about this 2 or 3 years ago, and it was interesting in 2022, right after the pandemic. There seemed to be a lot of thinking along these lines, not specifically this plan, but there were I think 115 millionaires in Davos who said, please tax us, right? Japan that year took over the G7, and the Japanese Prime Minister was pushing for actually looking at ways in which we could use the world's resources to spread the wealth. But again, like I said, spreading the wealth is, it's a good thing. Morally, you might feel good. But the real reason to do it is to ensure that growth is sustained. And to my mind, that is the new capital.